Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Black Ops Cold War. When it comes to the Warzone era of COD, you might want to call it the skill-based matchmaking era of COD. Basically everything from Modern Warfare 2019 onwards, Black Ops Cold War has got to be up there, man. Like in terms of like the best game to come out in that era. I definitely enjoyed playing this game when it was out. I'm sad that it's gone. I miss the zombies that we had in here, but most importantly, there was something about Black Ops Cold War that was just so different than what we saw with Modern Warfare 2, different than what we now see with Modern Warfare 3, definitely different than a game like Vanguard, and that's just the fact that it's a Treyarch game, right? Black Ops 6, we're due for a Treyarch game this year. People are pretty excited about it, myself included, because for whatever reason, Treyarch just, the things that they do with their games seem to resonate with me better than what Infinity Ward does, better than what Sledgehammer Games does. You know, for me, Treyarch has always been that developer that they seem to make more good decisions than some of the other developers out there. Well, recently it's starting to come out that maybe Black Ops 6 is in trouble because that same Treyarch that made all those games that we all know and love, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, hell, Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, even Cold War, it's not going to be the same Treyarch this year, and apparently things are not going exceptionally well over at the studio in regards to Black Ops 6. It's been said that they're not necessarily in development hell, but rather they're experiencing a bit of an identity crisis, and I think that's definitely evident in the fact that they've switched up how COD is made, and that's the most annoying part of it, right? So they went to that whole 3,000 devs thing for every single COD title, which basically meant that it was all hands on deck for every single game, and it became a situation very quickly of too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, you have Vanguard coming out, but Treyarch has to handle the zombies. Well, Treyarch's also working on their own stuff, so it's one of those things where if you have to do both things, both products end up suffering. Vanguard Zombies was freaking terrible. I mean, when they eventually added round-based Shinonuma, it was passable, but overall, Vanguard Zombies was pretty freaking bad. Meanwhile, Treyarch is still trying to work on their own game. And oh, by the way, they have to handle ranked play in all the Modern Warfare games, whether it's Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, Treyarch is handling ranked play as well. They're handling Sledgehammer Games Zombies. They're trying to make their own game. Like, all of those things are going to suffer when you try to stretch one studio too thin. It made a lot more sense back in the day where Treyarch did Treyarch things, Infinity Ward did Infinity Ward things, and Sledgehammer did Sledgehammer things. Of course, every now and then there was some help coming from different studios. We had what we would call support studios, like Raven Software. We had Neversoft eventually coming into the fold, and a number of other studios out there. But with how they're making COD now, it just seems like they're stretching all these studios so thin that no game really has that unique identity that the other games ended up having. I definitely think that's a big problem with COD, and apparently Black Ops 6 is suffering when it comes to that. I saw a video today. It was recommended to me. I saw it in my sub box, but people are talking about it on my Twitch stream as well, from Blame Truth. And so I watched the video talking about these DMs that were coming from what he says is a very reputable source, and if BT believes it's a reputable source, I'm just going to take it at face value. I have no idea who this person is. I didn't get any DMs or anything like that. But in those DMs, which he shows in his video, it's revealed that apparently Black Ops 6 is going to be stealing maps from Sledgehammer Games. Like, the reason why Sledgehammer Games is leaning so much into the Vortex maps with Modern Warfare 3, and we're going to get those cel-shaded map variants and things like that here in Season 5 and subsequently eventually in Season 6. Well, the reason why they're doing that is because Treyarch is stealing some of the maps that Sledgehammer Games had planned to release for Modern Warfare 3. That's a tough sell for me. I think it's a bit difficult to understand exactly how that works. I mean, there are lots of map variants, which does add variety to the game, and maybe it just was always the intention that those maps were never going to see the light of day anyway, because why release tons of original maps in Season 5 and Season 6 right during Black Ops 6 beta period? You know what I mean? Like, I can see that being the case, but I can also apparently see the case where Treyarch is taking those maps because they're behind on what they're trying to do with Black Ops 6 post-launch, because they've been helping out with all these other studios this entire time. Again, focusing on ranked play in Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, having to do zombies for Sledgehammer Games. Like, maybe Treyarch's really behind, and I definitely think it's possible that what they said in that DM is true, that Treyarch is actually taking a couple of the maps. Maybe they're just taking the geometry or whatever, then they're going to change up the art to make it fit the theme of Black Ops 6. But reportedly, Treyarch is taking maps from Sledgehammer Games so that they can release them post-launch within Black Ops 6, which is freaking crazy if you ask me. It was also said in those DMs that doors not only are going to be making a return, but there's gonna be like doors on Nuketown within Black Ops 6, which, what the hell, like, Why? Why would Treyarch want to do that to one of the most iconic maps in COD history? Since the original Nuketown, which dropped in 2010, which, by the way, was 14 years ago. Nuketown is tried and true. People love it. You know, they've changed up a couple of little tiny things about the map, but overall, it's never really changed. And now they're talking about adding doors to it. Like, just picture that for a second. You'd have 3 doors on the downstairs at the minimum of both buildings, and then maybe a couple more doors upstairs going to the back porches and everything. Like, who would that be for? Why would they pump possibly end up doing that, aside from the fact that they're trying to make the game more like the Modern Warfare titles that Infinity Ward is known for and subsequently Sledgehammer Games. I don't understand what is happening there. If that is true, which right now it's all just a leak, it's coming from DMs and things like that, take it with a pinch of salt. I'm just trying to report the news as best I can. If that's true, that really makes no sense, and it really does lead to that entire identity crisis, which has been said several years ago by Ralph's Valve. The identity crisis that Treyarch is going through as they're trying to navigate the new way of doing things over at Activision, especially now under Microsoft. Now, speaking of DMs here, this is something I've held underneath my hat for a number of years now. I'm still not going to reveal names or anything like that, or not even show the messages or anything, but years and years ago, I received a DM from a very prominent member of Treyarch, somebody you might recognize if you saw their picture. This person reached out to me years ago. It was actually around Thanksgiving. I remember specifically I was at my mom's house, we were watching football or whatever, and these DMs start coming in. And in these DMs, it was from a Treyarch developer, and they said that they had been linked to my Blackout is better than Warzone video, or one of the videos that I've made, which there's been a ton, where I talked about how I personally believe Blackout was better than Warzone. And in those DMs, that person revealed to me a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on at Treyarch under the old regime at Activision. Did you guys know this? For example, Warzone was Treyarch's idea. Treyarch wanted the name Warzone. That's what they chose for Blackout. Activision took it from them and gave it to Infinity Ward, and then Treyarch had to take the Blackout name. That is what that person told me, who was a Treyarch employee. They also said that a number of things came down from the top that they really could not control, which was incredibly frustrating. Like the entire idea of making Blackout not free to play and tying it to Black Ops 4, that was not Treyarch's plan, that was Activision's. And if you're Treyarch, why would you not want it to be free to play? Like Blackout could have been potentially huge, just as big, if not better than Warzone, if it was actually cross-platform and free to play, but no, it had neither of those advantages. It was basically just this testing ground for Warzone, even though Warzone itself did not take any of the positive things out of Blackout and put it into their game. Like, for example, they explained how the map was designed in Blackout, and I found this to be so interesting. In my video, I was talking about how the original Warzone maps, like, they're so condensed, right? There's skyscrapers everywhere, so many buildings, so many windows, there's not really much that you can do if people are just hiding, man. They're just going to take you out at a distance. That was a big frustration of mine. Well, this person who worked at Treyarch told me that they specifically designed the Blackout map with that in mind. There's only two big condensed areas on the entire Blackout map. We have Construction Site and we have Hydro Dam, and they were very specifically put on opposite ends of the map so that the map itself was a bit more open and that people weren't just going to be hiding in windows or camping on top of rooftops or skyscrapers or anything of that nature. Eventually, Activision got rid of that when it came to Warzone. They wanted to make the game a bit more camper friendly, which of course we've all seen the clip a million times where they say that the Modern Warfare 2019 maps, you know, they were made specifically for bad players to give them safe spaces and places to hide. They made the time to kill very quick because they want those bad players to get kills that they probably shouldn't, so they feel better, they want to get better at the game, and they want to keep on learning things about the game. The same was true of Warzone. When Warzone came out and everyone's like beloved Verdansk, that was made very specifically for bad players to get kills that they shouldn't because of how many buildings, how many windows, how many skyscrapers, and all of that was there, as compared to Blackout, which did not have that covered. The same thing is true of the looting system that they had in Blackout, how you had to push fights and actually be aggressive to get better attachments and better gear as you get towards the final circle. They got rid of that. They added loadouts, again, with the idea of helping those bad players. This is coming straight up from somebody who worked at Treyarch and was DMing me and talking to me about this, and all of those decisions came down from Activision. So there you guys have it. There's a bit of insight from these old DMs that I had from years ago. There's a bit of insight as to what it's like working at Treyarch, working at Infinity Ward, working at Sledgehammer Games, working at any of those studios. That is a bit of what it was like for them as the developers. Ultimately, they just work on the games, and a lot of those big decisions are coming from Activision themselves. And the thing about it is we don't have that much transparency, so not everything comes from Activision. Some bad decisions come straight from the studios themselves. Like when it came to all the stupid stuff Infinity Ward was doing, was that all necessarily coming from like one person or a group of people, or was that coming from a conglomerate of people from the top down, Activision trying to make Infinity Ward cater their games to bad players? Like, how is that all going to play out? We don't know because they're not very transparent about any of that, but I wanted to give you guys some insight as somebody who doesn't work for Activision but has spoken to people who do. It's very, very convoluted. And so when we hear about Black Ops 6, when we hear that they're having a bit of an identity crisis, when we hear the rumors, and again, take them with a pinch of salt, but the rumors that apparently Treyarch is poaching maps from Sledgehammer Games, this is not good news, really, whatsoever, but it really just comes down to how they are handling the development of COD. They took something that wasn't broken, which was the old system that we had back when we got banger after banger like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, like all those amazing games were under the old system. Then they changed things up out of nowhere, and ever since then, COD, I would say, not even just Treyarch, but COD has had an identity crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There's a relatively long-winded discussion in regards to what's happening with Black Ops 6, with Treyarch, and with Activision. Of course, take everything with a grain of salt. We are talking about DMs, and nothing's really confirmed. Nothing's come out official as of right now, but it is interesting for sure. And as we go into August, we're going to be seeing more of Black Ops 6. Of course, the beta is going to be coming as well, and I guess we're just going to have to really wait and see how everything is going to play out. But as always, I'll be here with you guys every step of the way as we learn more and as these stories develop. For right now, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.